Hello students, today we are going to discuss about the part 2 of the patient counseling. In part 1 we have understood about the entire process, requirements of the patient counseling, its outcomes. Now today we are going to discuss about what are the different barriers which can occur during the patient counseling and how to overcome it. Let us understand what are the different barriers involved in the patient counseling. The first is the environment in which you are performing patient counseling. It can be a busy pharmacy shop and therefore there may be a lack of the privacy, there may be lot of noise, there may be sometimes some physical barrier and a smooth conduct of the counseling cannot be conducted. Sometimes there may be some factors related to the patient also. Like patient may have certain physical disabilities because of which he may not occur personally at the place where the counseling is to be carried out, or may have some difficulties in language understanding. There may be certain factors related to the pharmacist also, and there may be some factors related to the time of the counseling. Let us understand one by one in detail. First, that is the environment. What are the possible environments where the patient counseling is possible? It can be a retail pharmacy shop or a community pharmacy. It can be a hospital outpatient pharmacy, or it can be a hospital ward also. But these are now the areas where the pharmacist should communicate or should use their communication skills and their professional capacity so that a proper conduct of the patient counseling can be achieved. None of these areas are actually ideal, but an awareness of the limitation of the environment goes part the way to resolving some of the problems. There can be sometimes a busy pharmacy. This may create an impression that there appears to be a very little time to discuss about the personal matters with the patient. The pharmacist may be supervising number of difficult activities at the same time, and therefore he may be unable to devote his or her full attention to an individual and to understand his problem and give the suggestions for it. And therefore it is important that the pharmacist organizes their patterns in a such a way that there will be a minimum distractions and he can devote his complete time of the counseling for the patient. Sometimes there can be a lack of privacy also. Both the community and the hospital outpatient departments, they have a separate counseling room or the areas. But most of the hospitals may not have it. And many hospital wards could be linked to a busy throughout where. For good communication to be, it is often necessary for the consultation to take place in a very quiet environment, in a private area where there will be less number of the interruptions. So the pharmacists usually work in an environment and therefore he will require in a busy environment, and therefore he really requires to acquire certain additional skills so as to overcome the lack of the ideal facilities. So he has to plan his work properly. He has to design his area of the working in a such a way that he, along with his work, he can devote a justifiable time to the patient for the counseling. Let us understand, if he has to think about a suitable environment for the patient counseling, what are the three important factors which he must look into? The first, it should be very comfortable for the patient. The environment should have less, it should maintain the discussion. If the patient wants to talk something confidential about his health or his personal life, then that confidentiality has to be maintained and the environment should be suitable for that. Even it should be safe also. In a room or a space that ensures privacy as well as an opportunity to engage in a confidential communication. There can be some common area can be constructed so as to maximize the visual as well as the auditory privacy from other patients or the staff. Now the patients, including those who are disabled, should have an easy access. They should have a proper sitting arrangement so that it will not be uncomfortable for them to relax, sit and talk with the pharmacist. Space and sitting should be adequate if there are more number of the people to whom the counseling is required to be carried out. like there are family members or the caregivers, the larger area and a proper a greater number of the seating arrangements will be required. So design and a placement of the desk and the counter should be in such a way designed that there should be a minimum barriers in between while the communication between a pharmacist and the patient. Even at the same time, the area design should be such a way that there should be less distractions and less interruptions will be there. So the patient and pharmacist can have each other's undivided attention. Another concern is noise. The noise levels within the working environment are always a barrier to establish a good communication. So people strain to hear what is said. So comprehension is becoming more difficult in that situation. Particularly problem exists for hearing of the when the patient has a impaired hearing or has some hearing problem, then this problem will become more serious. There can be sometimes physical barriers, that is the distance between the people where communication occurs should be significant. Pharmacy counters or outpatient dispensing hatches are the physical barriers, and this in turn can create the problems in developing the effective communication. Even another constant is the time. In many instances, the time or lack of it can be major problem for the good communication. So try developing a meaningful conversation with someone who constantly look at the watch, or similarly a patient who is worried about missing a bus or concerned that his car is parked. So all these concerns, if they are there in the mind of patient, then he will have a divided attention and he will not be ready to give a sufficient time for the counseling. So when you are deciding about a counseling time, the counseling can occur at the time when you are dispensing the prescription, or it may also be provided as a separate service. You give him an appointment, call him on that particular time or a day and give a devoted time to the patient. So that patient is also pre-planned. Now let us understand the patient factors. One of the main barriers for the good communication in a pharmacy can be expectation of the patient. As far as the practices in India are concerned, in many cases, the people say that a good pharmacy is the one where the prescriptions are dispensed very quickly. So they are not expecting that a pharmacist will spend some time for checking or for understanding of the medicine or discussing the health related matters. So this line of thinking of the patient needs to be changed. They have to first made aware of the fact that pharmacy is not only a place to sell the drugs, but even to get an information, a right and a correct information about the drugs which they are going to get consumed for the health benefits. Once the purpose of the communication gets explained, then the patient will realize the importance of the patient counseling. And that is why changing up of the mindset of the patient by explaining them the reason, the aim, objectives of the patient counseling becomes of vital importance. Another constant is the physical disabilities. Dealing with a patient who have problems with eyesight or those who have problems with hearing or they have a hearing impairment, these usually occur with a geriatric patient. And therefore, in that case, the pharmacist has to adopt some additional measures to establish a good communication between them. So not all people come from the same educational background. There will be number of and types of and varieties of the patient, and their educational background may not be same. And therefore it is a duty of the pharmacist to assess what is the level of the understanding of that particular patient. After assessing that only he can choose the appropriate language for establishing the communication. In many cases, the lack of ability to comprehend maybe because English is not their first language, and you start speaking in English and patient is not understanding. At the same time, he is not opening up also. He is not delivering his concerns or his difficulties. In that case, the pharmacist has to understand that, and then he has to try to communicate with him in the language which he can understand. The pharmacist working in areas where there is a high proportion of the non-English speakers may find it useful to stop or to develop their own information leaflets in the appropriate language which those patients can understand. Another constant is illiteracy. There is a high proportion of the people in India who are illiterate, and obviously for these patients, any written material will become meaningless. It is not always easy to identify illiterate patient because nobody will say or will feel ashamed and is unlikely to admit that he or she is illiterate. However, it is a duty of the pharmacist that he has to identify it. And if he identifies that any patient who has a problem in or a difficulties in reading, then he has to supply him some pictorial labels which can be used by the patient. In addition to that, he can give him repeatedly some verbal advices so that the patient will become alert and will start taking the precautions during his therapy. Like there are a number of types of the learning aids can also be used, like some graphics, some anatomical models, pictures of the medical administration devices. He can even give some memory aids to the geriatric patient. He can, if the patient is literate, he can give some written material. He can provide some AV resources, audiovisual resources to read, revise and remember. Other factors are related to the pharmacist. The constraints which come from the pharmacist is that not all pharmacists are natural good communicators. So identifying their strength and the weaknesses of the main pharmacist in the pharmacy shop can assist in improving their communication skills. Now, what are the different weaknesses which can act as a barrier for the communication? The first important one is lack of confidence. The pharmacist doesn't have a confidence to face the patient. One of the reasons may be lack of knowledge or lack of study. Then on that front, that patient needs to improve. Sometimes lack of interest. He feels, why should I interfere in his therapy? So the interest needs to be developed. And sometimes there is a laziness. A pharmacist who is not prone to delegate his responsibilities. So the sense of his social responsibility, his community responsibility should be told to the pharmacist. Pharmacists should be trained to establish a good communication. The sense of belonging or giving something, it's their duty to deliver a knowledge regarding the proper use of medication has to be imbibed in their mind. If any of these characteristics is present, then one must find out what are the reasons for this rather than just blaming or shouting at them. And we need to resolve those reasons. We have to overcome those reasons. We have to develop a confidence. We have to develop the interest. We have to remove that laziness. The pharmacist has to understand his responsibilities, and then only the proper communication can be established. Last, but very important, that the pharmacist should record all the reports of his counseling. That counseling was offered, was whether accepted, it was just provided, or a patient refused it. This everything truthfully has to be recorded. Even the pharmacist's perceived level of patient's understanding should be also recorded so that a care can be taken in the second or the consecutive sessions of the counseling. As appropriate, the content should be documented. For example, counseling about what counseling was done, about drug-drug interaction, food-drug interaction, lifestyle management, so that everything under a specific category needs to be documented. So all documentation should be safeguarded to respect the patient's confidentiality and privacy, which is again a very important duty of the pharmacist. So students, today we have discussed about various barriers and what can be the different ways to overcome those barriers so as to establish a very good communication between a pharmacist and the patient. Once a good communication is established, then in due course of the time, patient himself will approach to the pharmacist, will discuss about his problems, and a pharmacist can impart a knowledge about the proper use of the drug to make or to get the maximum health benefits from the therapy. Thank you.